Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. My name is Amir. For today's episode, we're doing a post-game show. The Miami Heat just lost to the Utah Jazz 136 to 100 at home. The Utah Jazz had the fourth worst record in the NBA going into this game. They are on a 7-game losing streak. They are basically a tanking team at this point, and they also lost their best sixth man, Jordan Clarkson, who is a bucket and dominated the Miami Heat. At one point in the game, they were up by 43 points. If Jimmy Butler said he has no joy left in basketball, especially with this Miami Heat team, I'm sure he was laughing his ass off last night and probably had a little bit joy, um, you know, reacting to how Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra felt after getting annihilated by one of the worst teams in the NBA. There's no excuse for last night's loss. I don't care if Jimmy Butler's not playing. I don't care if you're worried about the Jimmy Butler drama and saga. That's totally fine. Like, that could be some excuse, I guess, but between those four lines, the Miami Heat got destroyed. And Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo, our two best players, our two leaders, were not great. I mean, Tyler Hero was fine, but I mean, he still only, I think, scored 15 points or whatever it was, just 1 for 8 from three. Not good enough. Bam Adebayo was just horrendous. We'll get into that later. He continues to have one of his worst seasons in the past 6 years, and it's just unacceptable. And it also falls on Eric Spoelstra. Just embarrassing loss for the Miami Heat. Horrible rotations, just not able to get his team to beat one of the worst teams in the NBA. I mean, that's not a good look. Again, there's the whole Jimmy Butler trade, dilemma and drama, but still, like, that's no excuse to lose this type of game. And also, what's even more ridiculous is that this loss was the sixth biggest home loss in Miami Heat history. Let that sink in. Egregious to think, to a team that had 7 total wins. This was the worst loss of the season, obviously, lost by 36 points, down by 43, like I said, at one point, to the Utah Jazz. Their previous worst loss of the season was 19. So 36-point loss. This ties for their fourth worst rebound differential in NBA team history for the Miami Heat. So they lost the rebounding battle 57-32. I've made videos in the past saying basically the Miami Heat, if they win the rebounding battle outright, they basically win the game 95% of the time. So when they lose the rebounding battle, we see what happens. When they get demolished like that, it's historically bad for this Miami Heat team. So anyway, I'm just at a loss of words, honestly. Like, it's not a good look, and it's absurd. I mean, the Utah Jazz are bad. You still have Terry Rozier, who was inserted in the starting lineup for God knows why. I have no clue why Spo had Duncan Robinson coming off the bench. Terry Rozier started, but still, you still have Terry Rozier, who's a shell of himself, but you have Tyler Hero, you have Bam. I don't understand how you lose that game in that fashion at home. It's just embarrassing right now. Nikola Jovic actually probably played the best. He looked the best. He kept us afloat early on in that first quarter. The Heat were tied 22-22 in that first quarter, so it wasn't looking bad. It was nice to see the future youth movement with this Miami Heat team. We had Jaime Jaquez looking all right at times, and then Jovic, of course, was playing really well. And it was a close game, and you expected it to be a closer game with Jimmy out, but you didn't expect the Miami Heat to get blown out in the second quarter like they did. So after the first quarter was 22-22. Second quarter, Jazz blew the Miami Heat out 40-19. So they took a 21-point lead going into halftime, and they didn't stop there. They didn't take their foot off the gas, and the Miami Heat didn't make their adjustments. They with any more energy or passion. They weren't playing good defense at all. No, obviously no effort, no boxing out, no passion when it came to the rebounding battle. And in the third quarter, they got outscored 36-25, just like that. And fourth quarter, 38-34. So it didn't get any better. The Miami Heat just were outclassed, outmatched yesterday. So yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to talk about, but it just doesn't look great. It doesn't look like we could trust. How could we trust Tyler and Bam as our core two players moving forward? Right now, Bam Adebayo, he's struggling this year. And again, he hasn't had a game like this in a while, maybe in the last few weeks or so, but 0 for 6 against the Utah Jazz, 4 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, only had 4 free throws is embarrassing. Like, that's just, you're our max player, you're our captain. Like, this was the first game where Jimmy Butler was going to be suspended, and you said that we need to focus on playing basketball still. Basically, we need to feed our families. Like, our families depend on our salary, our checks, and we need to still win games. We can't use this as a distraction or let this distract us. And you come out with 4 points. Tyler, played okay, and I don't want to blame Tyler again. He's had bad games all year. He's been healthy. Biggest issue with Tyler Hero has been availability. He's played every single game, so kudos to him for that. He's been playing at an all-star level. 15 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 for 12 from the field, 1 for 8 from 3. Not great. 6 for 6 from the line, which was great. And only 12, but 2 games, back-to-back games against the Pacers and the Jazz, these blowout losses, and Hero scoring under 20 points in both is not a good look for your all-star bid. Like, you need to step up, because if this team just and loses games next 12, then lose. So he needs to step up. Bam Adebayo, though, needs to step up big time, of course. Jovic played really well, like I said, 17 points, 7 for 14 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3. Rozier was horrible, 0 for 5 from 3, 4 for 9 from the field, 8 points. He wasn't doing anything. We got to see extended minutes for Kel'el Ware. Looked pretty good, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assists, 2 steals. He was 5 for 9 from the field. Hawkes, 13 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists. Robinson chipped in with 16 off the bench. Yeah, I don't really know where I want to go with the rest of this video, because it's a very frustrating loss for this Miami Heat. They go on a 6 or 7 game road trip next week on a West Coast trip. I'll be going to the game in Sacramento and San Francisco. So back-to-back Monday and Tuesday. So they need to figure this shit out, because this team can't build around Bam and Tyler if they're going to continue to play like this. Bam is not a number 2 on a championship team. He's a number 3 at best. Tyler is also a number 3 at best. So we have 2 number 3 guys leading our way. And now our number 1, Jimmy Butler, is gone.